Okay, so 3 concepts.
I'm gonna grab my water.
Okay. So we were discussing parents and parents shit and us continuing our parent shit. Now, when we wake up to the fact that we're echoing our parent shit, like, there's really only 2 things. We look up at our parents when we're children and we decide, I am not going to be like these motherfuckers. I hate the way she does that. I can't stand the way she's so fake about this, the way she pretends this, the way she lies about that, the way she acts. She loves her children. Look at how she acts. But then the minute the other people are away, she's frowning at me and stuff, right? All the things that we don't like about them, we say, I will never be like that. My parents were so focused on grades and academics. I'm going to let my kids focus on what they want to focus on. I'm not going to be so focused on academics, whatever it might be. And then when we grow up, we do one of 2 things on those areas of life. We either do exactly what they did and don't see it and deny it, or we rush so far to the other side to be unlike them that we actually go, quote, too far and do just as much fucked up crazy shit on the other side, which is why I say the pendulum never swings to the middle. The pendulum always swings to the other side. And where mom was out of balance on this and this and this, if we decide not to be like mom, or we swing to the other side and we're quote, too permissive or too freedom giving to our kids, and they don't have any guidelines and boundaries, and then they suffer just as much from that as we suffer from this. Now, in the level 5 paradigm, there's nothing wrong with that. They must have chosen that. The only issue is that we might not want to continue that for another minute. So we can always move the pendulum back to the center on purpose. We just got to become present to do it. So here's like the magic behind this. If you tie all the umbilical cords back together that have ever been cut, and then you simply look at yours with your child and yours with your mom. That's the only ones you got to tie back together to see, wow, the emotions run through this cord, don't they? And the behaviors actually run through this cord, and the reactions run through this cord from mom to me to my kid. Like, wow, my kid is dealing with my echoes of mom. In fact, that means my kid is still dealing with my mom through me because I haven't awakened to it. What a trip. Now, I would like to change that. How can I change that? Brings up the second topic, which is we are here in a great radical truth. We are here to resolve what our parents could not. We're here to resolve what our parents could not. Now, this gets really interesting because I am actually the new model of my parents. In a very literal sense, I am, right now, the 2017 model. Doesn't matter if I was born in 64. If my dad was born in 23 or whatever the hell it was, or 43, whatever. And my mom was born in 41, and I was born in 64, I'm the 1964 model of mom and dad. And their parents weren't able to work shit out. And my parents dealt with the pain, the confusion, the frustration, the difficulty of communication. And that comes to me. I am here to resolve what they could not. Communicationally, parentally, healthily, sexually, interactionally, businessally, moneyally, whatever it might be. I'm here to resolve what they could not. The question is, will I do it or not? And when I do, because there's no time, I actually heal all of us by bringing myself to presence. And the Course in Miracles says, we heal the past in the present and free the future. So all lives being simultaneous. I know it's a really, really big, freaky topic. If you breathe deep enough to go past my words, it just kind of shows up anyway. Wow, yes. Okay, well, there's this system of psychology. I told you about it yesterday. The name just came to me. Thank you. You're welcome. Bowen family systems theory. Bowen's family systems theory. So this psychiatrist who made major breaks from mainstream psychiatry, was vilified and ridiculed and laughed at as a kook, crazy, for realizing and discovering that the emotional unit is not the human, but the family. What? The emotional unit is the family. If you look at the family psychically, so to speak, we don't. All of our words in this are like hammers. When sometimes we need scalpels and tweezers and stuff. If you look at the family, you will see that the emotions flow through it undeniably. We're one. Now, you do have to become present and back up enough to look, as this psychiatrist backed up enough to see something that no psychiatrist in decades of psychiatry, a bunch of crazy, fucked up theory bullshit fueled by pharmaceutical madness, and some really brilliant, forward-thinking people that actually want to help. This one person, Bowen, Dr. Bowen, made the realization, oh, holy shit, the family is actually a unit. In other words, if you tie all the umbilical cords back together, we just see with our eyes that the cords are cut. Truth is, there's much deeper cords that are a vine. So, yeah, go ahead.
So that means the whole family unit is one whole animal.
That's right. Or even a
One
cell.
being.
So it's like this: you have a cell. You have a cell in your liver that's a part of your liver, and
Yeah.
it contains the essence of your liver. Your liver's a cell in your organs, which contains the flavor of your organs. Your organs are a cell in your body,
It's crazy,
and
huh?
your body's a cell in the family, and your family's a cell in humanity, which is all one, all overlapping and interpenetrating and interwoven.
And there's like the cultural and ethnic self
Absolutely,
too,
yes.
and the whole where you were raised, and
Yes.
like all of the exponential variables that can also be affecting our
Religious, geographical, military, all of it
Governmental.
that comes down through the government into the school systems, including the private school systems that they allow or don't allow. Okay? So here we are as a product of all of that. And to quote, heal the emotions in the individual is to heal them in the family. To heal them in the family is to heal them in the individual. And so here's the freaky, crazy, beautiful thing. If we get past the idea that I'm a separate meat suit in a machine, if we let in the possibility that I actually am connected with the oneness beyond what I can imagine, to the point that I actually am the oneness and the oneness and me, and that we am one is all now, past the English language's ability to say, then look at that phrase from A Course in Miracles. We heal the past in the present, and we free the future. In other words, when you make peace with your son, and you release any idea that you have ever made any mistake with him, or done any wrong, or that you have punishment that at some point, I'm dealing with all these things with him because I fucked up, so I better be even more permissive. When all of that completely disappears, in fact, when any of it disappears, your dead grandmother feels a relief in her life, because there's actually no time here either. You are your grandmother, and you are your mother, and you are the children that haven't been born yet. And technically, you're everyone alive. But we don't even have to stretch that far to where it's even more incomprehensible. We can just recognize, you know what? If I make total peace with my son on this one topic, my mom feels a relief. Yeah.
Okay, so what about the father's side of that?
Exact same thing, because the sperm
Doesn't
connection
matter, yeah,
is just a
doesn't
different
matter.
type of cord.
Yeah.
We're still one with all of them. I find that using the umbilical cord as an example first just helps the mind is, oh, that's something it can kind of grab on
Yeah.
and visually see.
Right.
We're actually one with everybody.
So if I heal, or if anybody heals right here, right now, the present, then I would clear up all of the past from my mother's side of the family and my father's side of the family.
That's right. On that topic.
And that topic going forward as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And now this is where like the last piece of this comes in. And it's super important to what happened last night, to that breakthrough last night. So I have been working on a model to explain this for a very long time, and what I have is still not fully developed. But some of the stuff that I explain, and you've experienced it, like, I can say a 3-minute picture of something, and it's like, oh my God, I see something I've never seen before. Some of the things that I do, I don't yet have perfect or even excellent analogies for yet. So this is the best that I can do on this one. Your emotions related to being a mom, in a way, could be graphed as a 3, 4, or 5D representation, since we're all familiar with 3D. Let's just say like a 3D representation on a graph. I feel anger about this, sadness about this, and this is tied to that moment when I was 3, and this is, we can actually look at that and come up with a mathematical plotted graph, so to speak, right? And so, last night, on this relation of parenting, on this thing about your own childhood, on this thing about how your mom loved you and didn't love you, on this topic of communication and not being heard and not being seen, and what happened when I was 3, that time that I tried to say something and they said, I don't understand you. All those things together in this mass. What happened last night? You're laying there, finally, you have the full experience of, whoa, there is a sensation here, holy shit, and you become totally present, and you really breathe through it, and in the process of that, you erase and you dissolve so many elements and so many aspects, and this goes down to 0 and this one goes down to 5, and that actually reflects over on this one, which had been an issue your whole life. So I find very often with people, they get home and on day 10, okay, I'm going to weave something even more complicated into this, and this will actually simplify it, believe it or not. If you had a deathly fear of having a camel sexually molest you, okay, you just, like in your deepest cells, there's this terrible, terrible fear of being molested by a camel. And somehow, while you and I are working together, without even talking about camels, we have this healing miracle, and that whole issue of fear of being sexually molested by a camel completely disappears out of your entire body. You would not know it. You would have no fucking idea that we healed it or dissolved it or released it. It would never even be, you'd never be aware that we did it until next time someone said, hey, Bob's bringing his camel over. Because in that moment,
Damn! I don't like camels.
in that moment that Bob said that, you would subconsciously or semi-consciously begin to brace for the unpleasant feeling that was always up about camels. And you would go, oh shit, I don't have any feeling. Remember how you said now you don't feel upset about that thing with your mom. You don't feel upset about that communication thing. You don't feel as upset about your son.
Yeah.
Those things are gone. They're fucking gone. But you only know that because you have thought about it and realize when I go to think about it, all these topics in my life where there's upset, and there's always been upset, and I know there's upset. It's mostly unconscious or semi-conscious, but now Brian helped me dissolve this thing, and now when I think about that topic, I kind of subconsciously start to brace for the unpleasant feeling, and it's not there. Fuck the fuck up. So you wouldn't know about the camel clearing until a camel comes into the picture, and you go to brace yourself for that unpleasant feeling, and you go, holy shit, it's not there. When did we heal that? You get it? So back to our model here, we have cleared things in these last few days that you literally have no idea that we cleared. You don't even know that in one moment.
Some other random thing.
Well,
Yeah.
technically, let's eliminate the idea of random, because in a universe that's all one, randomness is impossible, accidents are impossible, mistakes are impossible. In a universe that's one living, conscious oneness, there's no such thing as randomness.
Yeah,
But I know what you mean.
But yeah, you know,
Seemingly disconnected. Something that we were not aware was even connected. So you will have things that will happen over these next weeks that you're going to literally go to brace yourself and go, holy shit, I don't even remember us working on that. So let's go back to our model one last time. we dissolved this, we dissolved this, we dissolved this, we diminished that, and we did this. Now, what will happen today, and is already happening, is a topic comes up that your soul knows all that's on this graph, and it's going to bring up the next thing. The next thing is that you will have moments when you're going to start to feel that old familiar feeling, and your mind will start to say, oh no, we didn't fix that, I thought we did. And what I want to arm you in advance for is, what if it's actually not the same feeling? What if it's a similar feeling? What if we erased, on this topic of you and mom, we erased this and this and this, and the next 22 things to come up are this and this and this and this and this, and they have similar feelings. They have similar echoes. They're related. We didn't erase your entire fucking past with your mom. We erased the things that we did.
Right.
So it's super empowering for you to go from this moment with the knowledge. When a familiar feeling comes up, if I meet it with, oh no, this again, I'm sleepwalking.
Yeah.
I don't know that it is that
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Come back to presence and meet it with love, and step to the next, and step to the next. And then that feeling, oh fuck, now that again, see, I thought we cleared that with Brian. Oh wait, I'm doing it again. I don't know that this is the same thing. Maybe it's a closely related item that is lighting up now because we erased this and this and this. This one was ready to rise up and be loved. That's the truth. That's how this actually works.
Well, like you said, there's like 15 billion million things that, there's all these paradigms. There's all these things that keep on popping up.
And they come up when they're ready based on the one that we just remedy. So let's cap this piece off. I am here, I'm here to focus on what I want to experience. And the fact that I created this illusion of time and space, including mom and fucking dad. Because I did create that. When I created this experience of time and space, I created the seeming illusion of all those things that seemingly pre-existed me. They're part of the game. And therefore, if I seemingly come from mom and dad, I don't. I'm projecting out of eternity into time and space right fucking now with all the illusion of time in past and future. I'm doing it now. I didn't create it then. I'm creating it now. The ultimate truth is I'm projecting the whole dream right now, including all the illusory memories of past and future. However, in the human experience, I'm utterly, totally convinced that I got born, and that all that shit pre-existed me. So, I then, in the human realm, I am here to resolve, and I prefer to experience, check and see if it's true for you, I prefer to experience living my life different than mom and dad did. I prefer to, they're not my authority on relationships. Sorry guys, ain't listen to you on relationship advice, you don't qualify. Ain't taking your advice on how to be happy with money. Ain't taking your parenting advice. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm here to actually disengage, to detach, to love and honor their perfection, to meet it all as the gift that it was, and to find what I prefer and experience, and to move it that way. My relationships, my way. My intimate relationship, my sex, my connection, my communication, my way. My parenting, my way. Way I handle money and opportunity and interaction about business and success and money, my way, not their way. In order to do that, I have to heal the emotions that I have on all those topics with them. Therefore, I am here to transcend what mom and dad could not, so that I can create what I want. Otherwise, I'm endlessly reacting to them while saying I'm being totally different from them.
Yeah. I get it. I have a question that popped up. What about I don't know if you have brothers or sisters.
I have a half brother and half sister.
Okay, so what about my brothers? How do they influence? I mean, that's a totally separate thing. I mean, they don't believe what I believe in. They're then going whatever, crazy life that they're doing. But how do they affect my parents, like the lineage there? Or, yeah.
Exactly the same way that you do. Exactly
Okay.
the same way that you do. Whether they choose to wake up or not.
Yeah. And they're going to affect my parents.
Yeah.
Even if I change a part about my beliefs in this area, it will help my parents.
That's right. And your
my
brothers.
grandparents,
And your brothers.
And it will help my brothers too.
Because it's all one. There is no separation.
Just-
Yeah, this is the next level of that
I'll even
awareness.
change my weird aunt. Okay.
My
really weird aunt.
Now let's address that word.
Yeah.
Let's address that word.
Okay,
I
sorry.
didn't say no. I didn't say you would change them.
Yeah. Okay.
I said you would help them.
Okay.
And there is a gigantic difference. We do so much of what we do. I tell you what, there's a diamond mine for you. I want you to put a giant, glowing, 20-foot tall, neon yellow, blinking exclamation mark on this topic right here. Just bookmark it, drive it into the ground about this idea about trying to make the baby shut up. If I'm trying to make the baby start crying, pretty much guarantee the baby's going to keep crying. If my intention is to meet this baby with love and soothe it back to peace by being in peace myself, then I'm in harmony, I'm creating harmony. It's exactly the same way with everything else. If I'm trying to change a situation, I'm in opposition, I'm in resistance, and I'm feeding what I don't want. If I'm trying to change a brother or an aunt or a mom or dad, if I'm thinking, ooh, that means if I do all this stuff, they'll change, you just put yourself right back in opposition and you're powerless again. But if your thing is to be at total peace yourself, serenity prayer comes into play. Grant me and remind me that I have the power to change all the things that I can change, the peace to accept everything that I don't seem to be able to change right now, and the wisdom to actually know the difference. And this presence is about settling into, out of anger and sadness and fear, settling into the love and joy and peace that I actually am in my eternal self, projecting into out of eternity into time and space. I'm still love and joy and peace. And if I bring all of my presence back to my center of love and joy and peace, then I am infinitely more powerful to change all the things that I can change. And I'm infinitely more at peace with all the things that I can't. And I'm totally present and wise to be able to see, I don't actually need to change Mom. I don't technically want to change her. All this time I thought I needed to change her because I thought if I could change her, then I could have peace. It's the opposite. If I have peace, only then can she really change.
I never wanted to change them. That's not what I'm saying. I was just asking about, my brothers, what would happen to them if they, to my parents, if they, what the connection's there. That's all I was asking, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I don't want to change my brothers. They have to change me now, right?
Should they ever choose to.
Yeah. And as far as my aunt, I was just mentioning, I was just asking, what about my brothers? How do they affect my parents if they...
Any of us, every choice we make affects the whole.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? I feel a break coming up, and before we do, so let's do this. This will be super fun.
Okay.
All right, if you guys will close your eyes for a minute. Obviously breathing. And I want you to do the impossible here. So I want you to imagine emptiness with nothing in it. Just the best you can. And then imagine a gemstone appears. And this gemstone is unique. It actually has an infinite number of facets. It's cut in such a way that it has an infinite number of facets. Now let's be fair, it's impossible. It would actually look like a sphere to the eye if it had an infinite number of facets, and this is actually impossible, but it doesn't matter, we're just imagining it in. So you zoom in and you see, wow, look at all these infinitely precise, infinite number of facets on this gemstone. Wow. Now, imagine suddenly that it's surrounded by an infinite number of gemstones going off into infinity in all directions. So, an infinite number of gemstones going off in every direction to infinity, each having an infinite number of facets. Now, paint one facet on one gemstone green, and look at what happens to every gemstone in the entire universe. One of them is directly seemingly opposite that facet. Now it looks like it has a green facet because it's reflecting it. All the others are reflecting it on one or more facets from different angles, and depending on the light and the angle, some of it looks more towards the yellow end of green, and some of it in other directions looks a little bit more towards the blue end of green. And as it goes extending out through the universe, it actually reflects and refracts so that the entire spectrum of color is reflected on one or more facets of every gemstone, kaleidoscopically, fractally reflecting through the entire universe. Why? Because we painted one facet of one gemstone. So now you understand what happens when you reach 1 degree of peace on one aspect of one topic in your life. It reflects through all the gemstones, which are everyone and everything else, every star, every planet. And that's why when I quote heal an aspect in myself, I quote heal it in the totality of all that is, because it's actually all me, all infinite gemstones with infinite facets, all reflecting all the time through all dimensions.
It's beautiful.
Yes, we are. Alrighty.
There's one other thing I'd like to say.
Yes.
So it's free. So like the freeing around the freeing piece, the freeing of our family, our brothers, or whoever else is involved that we could see, at least being affected. The piece that is coming to me too is like we're free inside of ourselves, and we've freed them from whatever that energetic and within ourselves as well. Like, so whether or not they feel it, they're like you've released an energetic tie to them in that, on that subject or on that, in that thing. So that is still just like, even energetically speaking, is that accurate? Like, do you feel like that's part of how they are affected? Like, because we're letting go of a piece of whether it's a judgment or a thought form or something emotional, kind of stuckness around them. Like we allow them to be free of our own whatever we were running. Is that how they're affected? Like how they can, just looking at this piece of how we all affect one another.
Let me meet that from a slightly different angle and see if this serves, see if this means. Okay, so I'm so pissed off at this bitch for that thing she did 20 years ago that I haven't communicated with her for 20 years.
Yep.
In fact, I tell you, fuck her.
That happens.
Yeah. Fuck her, man. and it's up. Okay. Now, she knows that I'm emanating fuck her.
Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Now, she's probably feeling fuck you, okay? Here's the thing. The minute, because we're one, and because my fuck you is reflecting on one or more facets of my gemstone, everybody knows it. On the deepest level, everybody knows it. We all pretend that we don't know everything. We pretend, oh, I have to say this because they don't know. Yes, they fucking know. Everybody knows everything all the time. It's just that the vast majority of it is underneath the level of consciousness because we're repressing and hiding and denying everything. Almost all of us, almost all the time. Okay. So when the moment comes that I say, you know what? I realize that she was actually a gift to me. Whatever I do a forgiveness worksheet, I go into the deepest level of forgiveness that almost nobody ever goes, even though they think they have. And I finally go to total forgiveness, and I not only let go that she did something fucked up and I'm letting it go. No, I actually reach, you know what? Oh my God, she did that for me. That was actually for me because I already believed. I just heard Brian saying that thing about if someone says something and you get hurt, they didn't hurt you. They revealed to you that you already had that hurt. So I finally realized, oh my God, she actually did that for me. Even if she doesn't know that she did, it was a gift to me. And she probably felt like shit about it too. Wow, I'm so grateful that she did that. In the moment that I release, it could be anything else, but in the moment, this example, in the moment that I release, fuck her, that fucking sorry bitch who made me feel that horrible shit and fucked up my life. The minute I turn that into, oh my God, I am so grateful, I see she did that for me. That energetic change in me travels through no time and no space, because there is no time and no space. We're totally one all the time. And she feels a relief. Whether she, depending on her level of consciousness, she could have more or less of an awareness of what changed, but she doesn't have to. The fact is, she feels a relief. She feels a release. She feels, wow. Wonder how Brian's doing. I kind of feel like reaching out.
Hey, Brian.
Fuck you! No. See? Like that to me, does that answer your question?
Yeah. I mean, it's like you said, it's another expression of that phenomena of releasing energetically. Yeah, it's a
And maybe her spleen, maybe she had 30 cells in her spleen that were just beginning to move towards cancerous. And maybe I had some liver issue that was really just beginning to act up. And in the moment that I completely release it, all my liver cells go whoosh, and they relax. And her spleen, those few cells that were just starting to move towards trouble in her spleen, simultaneously release. And we sleepwalk through the whole thing. And here's where it really gets tricky. In that moment, the universe, now this is silly and it's not, the universe between me and her, down on one of the planets where there was a drought going on and everybody was starving and everybody was starting to get angry, they were moving towards governmental tyranny, and all this war was about to break out. In that moment that I release, that entire planet goes to peace. And they all lower their weapons and say, maybe we can work together on a farming solution. I got this idea that just came through.
Mm-hmm.
So even body parts, I mean, like even it's correlated.
Absolutely.
So
How do we know when you and I make peace, how do we know that somebody in 1643 doesn't make a discovery that causes one of the diseases in our world to not happen, and our whole world completely shifts, and suddenly that disease doesn't exist in our world? There's no time here, so we don't even know the multi-dimensional impacts of our emotional stuff that we've been holding, that we change universes. When one facet on one gemstone gets.
That's that's really a great story. Gemstone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah. It's better than the butterfly effect.
Yep. Yeah, because there's no time and space. The butterfly effect takes time. Right?
Yeah.
This one is just.
And it's like, oh.
Oh. All right.
All right.
I feel a break.